Amazing, isn't it?
Wonderful timing. Yes. Thank you very much, Dennis. I'm assuming and hopeful that you can both see me and hear me
Yes.
well. And I'm going to also share my screen now. I hope you can now see my first slide as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and first and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this excellent event, to be joining such an experts community and speakers. It's a pleasure. My name is Georgi Chaltikyan. I'm a professor and head of digital health masters at Deggendorf Institute of Technology in Bavaria, in Germany, at a campus that we call European Campus Rottalin. At the same time, I'm also active in my country of origin, in Armenia, with the Armenian Association of Digital Health, and with one of the leading universities in Yerevan in Armenia, where we also established the Research and Education Center of Digital Health. And we are currently operating this Masters of Digital Health as a double degree program, both in Germany and in Armenia. And I have been also consulting the DDH unit, Data and Digital Health, at WHO European Office from time to time. And this is basically what I do. And yes, in a nutshell, very, very shortly on me. As I said, I joined DIT in 2015. And we've established also the sister study program at RAU in Armenia in 2022. So teaching, research and development and international project coordination is basically my everyday life. So what we're going to be talking today, after a very brief intro, we will be focusing largely on artificial intelligence for health. And as Guillaume already provided a good sort of transition to my talk by saying that AI is unfortunately not yet actively used in tele-expertise, teleconsultation. So this will be a little bit also a talk about the upcoming future of health with artificial intelligence. We will be focusing mostly on LLM use in healthcare, and we'll complete with a few words on personalized health, or something that I like to call 10P health and digital twins. And in the very end, I will, with your permission, provide a very quick information on our masters and on the DG Health Day, the forum that we are hosting here at DIT. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. As a prologue, a very brief extract from the TED Talk by Ilya Sutskever, who had been instrumental and one of the masterminds at OpenAI prior to this drama with OpenAI leadership that I believe all of you are familiar with, that took place a few months ago in the autumn 2023. And let's see what he has to say.
The example I want to present is healthcare. Many of you may have had the experience of trying to go to a doctor. You need to wait for many months, sometimes, and then when you do get to see a doctor, you get a small, very limited amount of time with the doctor. And furthermore, the doctor, being only human, can have only limited knowledge of all the medical knowledge that exists. And then by the end of it, you get a very large bill. Well, if you have an intelligent computer, an AGI, that is built to be a doctor, it will have complete and exhaustive knowledge of all medical literature. It will have billions of hours of clinical experience, and it will be always available and extremely cheap. When this happens, we will look back at today's healthcare similarly to how we look at 16th century dentistry. When they tie people with belts and then have this drill, that's how today's healthcare will look like.
Yeah. So basically, industry leaders are bringing healthcare as the sole example of what is the wonderful future of artificial intelligence, and especially of artificial general intelligence. And that brings me to something that I often mention to my students. If there is, it's absolutely clear that there is no health without digital, and there will be very soon no digital health without artificial intelligence. But the other way around, in my understanding and in my prediction, is very right too. There is no digital without health. And I recently did something like a forecast that in 10 years from now, I believe at least 3/4 of all applications of digital technologies and artificial intelligence will somehow be related to health. Now, to set the stage, I just wanted to say that the digital health, in our understanding, is a wide domain, and we like dividing it in 8 subdomains, ranging from digital health records and health information systems, through telehealth and remote care, through mobile health and digital therapeutics, imaging, extended reality, robotics and gaming, sensors, wearables and monitoring, and all the way to artificial intelligence and digital biomarkers, omics, and the same 10P health. Now, AI, of course, has been booming and is developing very rapidly nowadays. And as one editorial published in The Guardian about a year ago put it, this combinatorial innovation with a very rapid transition time, as is illustrated here, and this is the human performance, and these are the language understanding and reading comprehension that took off and went almost essentially or exactly, radically vertically up. We're no longer facing the exponential growth, but rather vertical. And the factors that lead to this combinatorial explosion, according to this gentleman, John Norton, are as follows: the availability of massive cloud computing power, the unimaginable quantities of data provided by the internet for training LLMs. We have to say here, however, that we are already sort of running a little bit short of data, hence the kind of side branch to synthetic data. Significant improvements in algorithms that are boosted by neural networks, deep learning, and of course, especially the transformer architecture that made possible all these recent innovations, and money, as he's saying, provided by insanely profitable tech giants. Now, the AI applications in health are multiple. We speak here of image analysis, of course, the so-called computer vision, or retrieval of medical information, using multiple information sources about a patient to make a diagnosis, the operational organization, clinical trial performance, multiple also use cases in public health. And the list goes on with virtual assistants, with automated administrative tasks, wearables, AI-powered genomics, the drug discovery, clinical decision support, personalized treatment planning, continuous monitoring, early warning systems, and AI in what I like to call enhanced visualization and enhanced manipulation technology. Speaking here of extended reality and, of course, of robotics. This is the running list of the AI and ML-enabled medical devices, so medical applications that are approved by FDA. This list is being prepared by Dr. Meshko from the Medical Futurist. As we see here, of course, still the majority of FDA-approved apps are in radiology. This is followed by oncology and cardiology, and the other specialties basically joining in. Now, with regards to large language models, in a nutshell, what are the large language models? We know that those are the foundational large models built on basically deep learning with transformer architecture that are pre-trained on a huge amount, or basically everything that is available on the net in a self-supervised learning manner, and then they are fine-tuned, and also some guardrails are added, and the resultant is the augmented model. LLMs can be applied and are already being applied in both patient care as well as in research and in education. A recent study that was published appeared just a few days ago on 8th of April, I believe, was published by Signify Research, one of the market research leaders. And this is what they essentially demonstrated: the number of announced or launched solutions currently. And we have here greatest number in ambient listening. I'm very happy that we're going to have a talk later this morning or early afternoon, specifically on ambient listening, but also foundation models, chatbot, drug discovery, data analytics, and some others. With regard to end users, we can see that clinicians, so clinician-facing, health worker-facing solutions are the majority, more than 1/3. And next comes the pharma. Patient-facing solutions are still a little bit less. And the product type, we have here digital health and electronic medical records, nearly 2/3 of solutions, followed closely by pharma, life sciences, medical and clinical IT, and big tech. But this is kind of a general slide, very nicely from one of the papers that I would very much recommend to everybody who is interested in LLMs in healthcare, that shows the various uses of these applications in clinical area. We're speaking here about primarily 3 major domains: the clinical decision support, help with medical records, basically formatting, for example, or assistance in coding, the clinical report generation with text summarization, generation of medical imaging reporting, but there are also, of course, very interesting uses in medical robotics, in multi-agent planner, for example, for surgery, or with other robotic applications, as well as, of course, translation of medical text, both into various human languages, as well as translation for non-medical professionals, for lay people. There's a lot of potential and already used applications in medical education and the mental health support with chatbot therapists have also all been already demonstrated. Of course, there are quite significant challenges, and this slide presents in a nutshell the main domains of challenges and problems that may be arising with usage of LLMs in healthcare, such as the hallucinations, generating inaccurate or unverifiable information. And here we have for each dimension, for each potential challenge, a very quick sort of possible mitigation approaches: mitigation through training, generation, retrieval, correction. Inadequate benchmarks for evaluating potential is a problem, so we need to develop benchmarks for medical LLMs. The small data set limits real-world performance. This is what we've already mentioned. So the exploring synthetic data sets here is, in my opinion, a very, very promising direction. Forgetting old and adding new knowledge timely, and model editing and retrieval augmented generation would be a good approach here. Aligning LLM behavior with medical professionalism could be an issue, and here we need, of course, to enhance LLMs with fine-tunings, with RLHF, the reinforcement learning from human feedback, with prompt tuning and other approaches. And finally, of course, last but not least, as they say, ethical and safety concerns are quite significant, and here there is a huge room for further development with exploring causes and regulations specifically for usage of AI and specifically LLMs in health. Future directions may look like what is shown here. In terms of development, the new benchmarks should be developing. Multimodal LLMs, of course, will be more and more applied with integration of vision, integration of audio, and LLMs for the so-called time series data. And in terms of deployment, the AI agents are the most important, perhaps, avenue. The multi-agent collaboration with specialized role modeling with LLMs and continuous learning through feedback loops, as well as LLMs in medical subdomains will be further developing, and interdisciplinary collaborations are all important. Finally, this 10P health paradigm, and what is 10P coming from? It's the original term that was introduced by Dr. Lee Hood that we're going to see in a minute. That was further expanded to first 5P, and then eventually 6P, and then I went ahead and added a few more words, all beginning with P, to this paradigm of predictive, preventive, personalized, precision, participatory, pertinent, proactive, pervasive, permanent, and platform-based. Excuse me, which is, in my understanding, the upcoming future of what health should be. And that will all be revolving around the concept of digital health twin, with automated collection of data and analysis of all these health and wellness data in real time, coming from sensor-based devices, the genetic data through gene sequencing, the self-reporting information, prompts, from EHR, of course, and other provider data, from claims, from ambient, from environment, from even social activities data, from behavior, emotions, and all that. And what is the important in this concept of digital twin and how it sometimes differs from what we have nowadays is that digital twins will allow the real-time information interchange between physical and virtual copy of the patient with continuous stream of data into these something that Dr. Hood calls individual data cloud, and the use of data to predict individual person-specific evolutions. All of that is basically already taking place to some extent. There are major projects such as the All of Us project in the US. The EU is also, of course, very much dedicated to launching these time of big initiatives. And of course, we all expect that the European health data space, this major package, will be providing further impetus towards that future of 10P health. I would like to complete my talk with the two presenting two persons, of course, who don't probably need special presentation, but whom I definitely consider visionaries that inspire myself and my journey in digital health. And those are, of course, Eric Topol and Dr. Lee Hood, Dr. Leroy Hood, who is essentially the founder of that, or is widely considered at least one of the founders of that P4 medicine concept. And this is what he said a couple of years ago. I think we are at an enormous tipping point where there is going to be a fantastic revolution in medicine. The really interesting question is how rapidly that tipping point is going to cause change in how patients are treated. And on that, I would very much like to also recommend a number of titles that I personally found also super important in my journey, and especially this book that was very recently published by Dr. Hood with his co-author Nathan Price. And this is what he calls the age of scientific wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, my time is almost over, but just a minute probably, or two. If I may, Dennis, I know you were very strict with not allowing us to surpass, this 20-minute threshold, but I would really very much like to present also a number of publications that I found super interesting and excellent publications. You have here QR codes. that are going to basically lend you directly to this publication. And especially there is a practical guide for medical large language models, an actively updated list of resources for LLMs in medicine that I found amazing. This is available on GitHub and continuously updated. And it's a work by several researchers from basically all major universities in the United Kingdom. They also published a paper that I used quite widely in this presentation. There is, of course, the paper by Dr. Meshku and Eric Topol and some others. Lastly, a few words about our Masters of Digital Health at DIT. Please check it out. We always welcome collaboration. We are collaborating with many entities, including the EFMI that Dennis mentioned in his intro a couple of hours ago, the European Federation for Medical Informatics. And we are featuring our own, we call it a forum for education, research, innovation, and networking in digital health, which is named DigiHealth Day. It's a continuous series of events running throughout the year and culminating in November. So please feel free, you have your QR code to register to become subscribers to this series, which is absolutely free, and come join us for this event, either virtually or physically on premises at our European campus. Thank you very much. I hope it was not too long, just 2 minutes past the limits, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Georgi. That was amazing and very interesting. And no need to apologize for 2 minutes. I mean, we know different conference schedules, right? So great. Any questions from the audience? Okay, they're all
I have one.
Oh,
I have one.
Okay.
What do you see as the biggest risks in terms of AI in the medical space?
The risks?
Yeah.
Well, yes, the risks are very significant, of course. As we already mentioned, there are a number of challenges. The challenges, in my understanding, to me, the primary risk would be the inability, or I'd rather say the challenge that the users of these applications of LLM-based apps will be facing with regard to completeness of information that has been used to train and fine-tune the model, and ability of the model to absolutely accurately reflect the, let's say, let me put it this way, the human-based clinical or healthcare practices. So the risk there is that while relying on accuracy of LLMs in healthcare, clinicians might be tempted to somewhat not be on high alert, with regard to a possible mismanagement, with regard to, let's say, hallucinating type of events. Unfortunately, I know very well, and I think everybody understands that despite all efforts, we're talking here about technology, despite the best efforts, I'm very sorry to say that in the foreseeable future, I believe we will still be witnessing every now and then episodes when AI or LLM-based solutions might even lead to some patient harm. However, what I need to say here is that You know, we frequently are expecting from AI, and there is it's a known sort of, conundrum. We're expecting from technology much more nowadays than we used to expect from human health professionals. Let us not forget that human associated medical error is a major cause of harm and a major cause of death. Going back to 1999, 2000, to this landmark publication by the US, back then National Institute of Medicine, currently National Academy of Medicine, where they published, as many of you I'm sure know, the paper that they titled "To Err is Human," right? Errare humanum est, coming from based on the famous expression by René Descartes. And they demonstrated that every year at least 100,000 patients only in the United States die because of preventable human-related medical error. And that was essentially the trigger, right, that was used, that paper, to initiate that major move of digitalizing health information system, digitalizing the health system in the United States. So I am still optimistic that AI will be doing much better than humans with regard to medical errors. The risks are there. I'm absolutely sure that the risks are manageable. And most importantly, I think whatever the risk and whatever the challenges, there is simply no other way, ladies and gentlemen, because we all understand that just simply the sheer amount of data and information in healthcare makes essentially absolutely impossible continuing to rely on human expertise, full stop. To me, there is just no other opinion. The era of human expertise in healthcare, I will be bold and provocative here, is coming to its end. This is my absolute conviction.
More questions to Georgie.
3 more minutes to go.
I've got one.
Yeah, Dennis, sure.
So today, the interface for the large language models and AI very often is this chat mechanism. How do you look at that? Is that something that we should assume to be the interface also in the future, that this is the way how we interact with computers, talking and getting back some narrative with the embedded information, or how do you see that evolving?
For the near future, the interfacing will be first of all much more. I believe the key development here, Dennis, in my understanding, is the agentic AI. So AI agents, essentially. Now, we humans will continue communicating with computers through voice and gesture primarily in the foreseeable future. Well, if we talk about midterm or farther into the future, I believe it's probably maybe too early talking about that. But of course, the real future inevitably is going to be brain-computer interfacing. That is absolutely also inevitable and, in my understanding, unavoidable. But for the foreseeable future, let's say the next decade at least, or maybe a couple of decades, until the brain computing interface technology really comes of age, the most seamless interaction between human and computer is going to be, of course, voice, gesture, and appliances, probably also appliances like the same, Vision Pro from Apple. They need to further develop, become smaller, become more, less intruding. And then the eye tracking is another important technology here. But all in all, the more we go, the more these developments will be towards AI agents, of course. We will not need to communicate a lot with the chatbot in the form of question answer, sort of, right, question answering, which is the primary modality nowadays, but it will mostly be just instructing essentially the app, the agent, on sequence of actions, the AI, and this is basically the AI agents, what AI agents is about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the interest. And once again, it's a pleasure being here. And I wish everyone an excellent continuation of this wonderful event today and also tomorrow.
Likewise, it was a pleasure for us to have you, and really interesting talk from your side. So feel free to stay with us for the next sessions. We only got 2 to go, but I think they are very interesting ones. And with this, I saw that Jan has joined the call. Hello, Jan.
Good morning.
Coming in from
afternoon.
holidays. So thanks a lot.
So,
And yeah, the stage is yours.
thanks a lot. So, Dennis,